You can achieve mouse-like precision with motion controls. In this guide, you will learn how to set up gyro and flick stick on almost every Steam game. You will want to watch this video until the end to learn how to disable gyro menus, add a recenter button, and much more. This guide works on Steam Deck and on PC. I will use Steam Big Picture mode so Steam Deck players can easily follow along. Though Steam TUI is constantly improving, so pay attention to the description of every setting. Also in the future, some options may have a slightly different name or be in a different position. To access Steam Big Picture mode, click on the TV icon on the top right corner of Steam's desktop mode. Every chapter of this video will have the label essential or optional, so you can jump to the part that you actually need. However, it's recommended that you watch the whole guide at least once, because once you know everything there is to know, the process will hardly take more than a couple minutes. You will need a controller with gyro sensors, like the DualShock 4, DualSense, Switch Pro controller, Joy-Cons, the Steam controller, or the Steam Deck itself. You will also need direct connection to your PC. Bluetooth or USB, it doesn't matter. Just make sure to not use extra programs like DS for Windows, because we don't want Steam to recognize your controller as an Xbox controller. And patience, because you will have to do a lot of testing, and if this is your first time with gyro, you will need some time to get used to it. I highly recommend everyone to watch my gyro beginner's guide, where I explain some important concepts that I won't have time to do. Well, in this video, if you're trying to play any of these games, they already have official native support for gyro on PC, so you don't have to follow this guide. Most games with native gyro only work with PlayStation controllers through a USB connection. Gyro can emulate the right stick, but that is much harder to set up and is worse overall. So I will leave gyro as joystick for another video. Gyro will be emulating a mouse. Much time setting up different games. Let's start with one-time only configuration. You must enable your controller and calibrate it. To enable your controller, press the home button, go to settings, go to controller, and depending on the controller you're using, enable PlayStation controller support or Switch Pro controller support. To calibrate your controller, click on calibration and advanced settings. Go to gyro calibration and click calibrate. Leave the controller on a flat surface like a table or on the ground and click continue. Now wait for a couple seconds. Gyro is very sensitive, so be sure to not touch the controller, the table, and to not shake your leg while calibrating. Auto calibration will attempt to calibrate your controller if you leave it still for a few seconds. The bar should fill up if the controller is left on the table and not if you hold it in your hands. If the bar fills up when the controller is in your hands, that's a sign that the calibration is too tolerant, so you can tighten it up by reducing the tolerance sliders or disabling this feature entirely. For PC players, there is one more setting that we must enable. Go back, then go to the in-game tab and check the box Use Big Picture Overlay when using a controller. This will ensure that you won't have to enter Big Picture mode to configure gyro in the future. Now, we will need to enter the controller configuration screen very often. To do so, click on the controller icon on the game page while the game is closed. Or open the game you want, press the home button and go to controller settings. Here you will have quick access to some important settings. You can even import and export layouts. To import layouts, click on the name of the layout. You can import a template to speed up the config making process using the Templates tab, or import ready-to-use layouts on the Community tab. To import layouts made for different controllers, press the Show All Layouts button. To proceed, click on Edit Layout. Here you can change every binding and behavior of your controller. The first thing that we need to do is to calibrate the dots per 360 value. Sensitivity sliders and the recenter button will only work with the proper dots per 360 value. Every game has a different value. This value is shared between gyro and flick stick, and each action set can have different dots per 360 values. More on that later. There are many ways of calibrating this value, but the easiest ones are: Method 1. Enable gyro to mouse mode on the gyro tab or flick stick on the joystick tab. Choose a button and bind it to Turn Camera 360 found on the Camera tab. If you don't see this button, you will need to enable Steam Beta updates. You can learn how to do that in the first link in the description. Now, in-game, align your aim with something, then click the button. The reticle should do one full rotation and return to the origin point. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per 360 value. If it doesn't go far enough, increase the pixel per 360 value. This method requires it doesn't go far enough. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per 360 value. If it doesn't go far enough, increase the pixel per 360 value. This method requires mouse smoothing and increase the pixel. Overshots decrease the pixel. Should do one full rotation and return to the origin point. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per one full rotation and return to the origin point. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per one. Now in game, align your aim with something, then click the button. The reticle should do one full rotation and return to the origin point. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per 360 value. If it doesn't go far enough, increase the pixel per 360 value. This method requires mouse smoothing and acceleration, to be mouse mode on the gyro tab or flick stick found on the camera tab. If you don't see this button, you will need to enable Steam Baking with some updates. You can learn how to do that in the first link in the description. Now in-game, align your aim with something, then click the button. The reticle should do one full rotation and return to the origin point. If it overshots, decrease the pixel per 360 value. If it doesn't go far enough, increase the pixel per 360 value. This method requires will influence the calibration. After calibrating this value, you can reset the button used for calibrating and disable gyro and flick stick if you want. The second method is faster because it requires less trial and error. Still, it's also less consistent because it's harder to account unities from centimeters, whatever value you want here. Pay attention to the location slot. Sometimes in-game and configuration files, the in-game calibrated number value. You can ignore it with higher gyro sensitivities. This site also shows if the game has mouse smoothing, if the sensitivity is tied to the resolution or the FOV, and much more, so you can quickly fix any problems that you might have. No matter the method used, do not
Hostiles approaching. Reciprocating hostility. Helping.
On the gyro tab, select the gyro behavior to gyro to mouse. Lean left and right lets you bind actions for when you lean the controller. To proceed, click on the gear icon beside the gyro to mouse box. Gyro activation buttons, also known as a ratchet button. Choose when and how the gyro will be active. Select the button or a combination of buttons, then select their behavior. Behaviors available are: hold the button to activate gyro, hold the button to suppress gyro, press a button to toggle gyro on and off, none to have gyro always on. This is useful for various use cases, or control, or to temporarily disable gyro to reposition the controller and the camera in a first-person game. There is a more advanced method of doing this with action layers, but I will talk about that later. Sensitivity tells you how much you turn in the game compared to real life. This is the basis of the natural sensitivity scale. If set to 1 degree in real life will move 1 degree in game. However, 1 to 1 might not give you enough range, so your preference for the ratio may be higher. Beginners might start somewhere between 2 or 3. Feel free to test and find the best sensitivity for you. This is useful because now you can have the same sensitivity across every game. Invert Y and X output does exactly what it says. Moving up will go down and moving left will go right. Gyro speed dead zone is basically a dead zone for the gyro. It's useful for mitigating handshake, but it can cause loss of small movements if set too high. Gyro precision speed. Small movements will be more filtered than big movements. This option can completely replace dead zones for more advanced players, and it's really helpful in super precise games like CS2, Overwatch, and Apex Legends to achieve stability at high sensitivities. Vertical horizontal output mixer. This slider will change stability, really help this set too high. Gyro precision speed. Small movements will be more filtered than big movements. This option can completely replace dead zones for more advanced players, and it's really helpful in super precise games like CS2, Overwatch, and Apex Legends to achieve stability at high sensitivities. Vertical horizontal output mixer. This slider will change the balance between horizontal and vertical sensitivities. 0% means that vertical and horizontal sensitivities are the same. Moving the slider to the left will decrease vertical sensitivity and increase horizontal sensitivity, which helps to improve stability. Or you can do the opposite so you don't have to twist much of your arm to look all the way up and all the way down. Acceleration is the same as mouse acceleration. The faster you move, the further you go. You can choose between 3 acceleration curve presets: linear, relaxed, and aggressive. We still don't have a way to see and edit acceleration curves, but who knows, maybe this will be added in the future. Enable momentum. After disabling gyro with the gyro enable button, the gyro will continue to output for a short time. This is great especially for gyro ratcheting, allowing you to do ratchet throws. Horizontal and vertical momentum friction controls the velocity of the momentum feature, which is how fast the camera will slow down. Horizontal friction should be lower than vertical friction, so you won't accidentally look at the sky or the floor. Gyro orientation. People hold and move their controllers in different ways. Some settings are suited for portables, while others may feel more comfortable with standalone controllers or detached controllers. The following examples will be done with the controller flat on my lap. Still, Steam Deck players will probably hold their devices upright, so rotate my examples to fit your use case. Hand movements are the same, they are just on a different axis. 3DOF to 2D conversion style. 3DOF means 3 degrees of freedom. These 3 degrees are yaw, roll, and pitch. This setting will change how yaw, roll, and pitch movements translate to 2D, essentially changing how you should hold and move the controller. Steam has 4 conversion styles. Pitching moves the camera vertically on all of them, so we will only change how the camera moves horizontally. World space and player space are similar. When pointing at the horizon, swiveling will turn you most, but if your controller points towards the sky, rolling will turn you most. The main difference between the two modes is that if you are leaning the controller, pitching and world space will move you diagonally, while in player space you will move straight vertically. Due to technical limitations, world space won't work correctly on portable devices like the Steam Deck. That's why local space and player space exists. Local space is divided into 3 presets: yaw, roll, and yaw plus roll. The non-preset local space option is a more advanced mode for power users. While using yaw mode, you must swivel the controller like a bus steering wheel to look sideways, whether the controller is pointing towards the sky or not. While using roll mode, you must lean the controller to look sideways, whether the controller is pointing towards the sky or not. Yaw plus roll is the combination of the two modes. Local space is the most consistent option for portable devices. Because the pitch doesn't influence how you look sideways, local space can feel a bit awkward with standalone controllers. That's why player space is often considered the best option. Laser pointer behaves like a Wiimote, or, you know, a laser pointer. If the controller is tilted 90 degrees, swiveling up and down will also move the camera up and down, unlike the other modes. It's useful for cursors on UI-based games and detached controllers like the Joy-Cons. Rotate output rotates the output of your inputs. If your horizontal movements go a little diagonally, this setting can compensate for that. Trigger press mouse dampening. The sensitivity is decreased when the trigger press mouse dampening button is pressed. Use the slider to change the amount. Movement threshold. The description already explains it really well. Some games will aggressively filter out small mouse movements, which can cause small or slow movements to be lost. This setting will batch up smaller values and wait to send them until they are large enough to be accepted by the game. But I have never found a game that needed this, so if you find one that does, this feature is here for you.